Good evening. Ira Epstein of Linn & Associates with your metals market wrap-up, and this is for Wednesday, September 16, 2020, just after 6:30 p.m. Central Time. Well, as you can see, the gold market back into the 1960s. Silver got hit hard today, coming back down into the 2730 area. Copper's just sort of sitting here in the 307 zone, not going anywhere. It was all about the Fed today, and what the Fed did, and there's highlights that I've written about in my written reports, but suffice to say, they don't see inflation coming back in any meaningful way until we get more employment. Employment getting closer to what they call the full employment. As to how keeping interest rates low will do that if the employment doesn't come back, when it was asked today, there wasn't a good answer. And that put the gold market down because the Fed is saying to you, well, we really don't have an inflation story to talk about right now. It pulled the rug out from under it for a moment. The stock market was everywhere. You had 300-point gain in the Dow right after the announcement came out, and it gave up just about all of that. Dollar index, to my surprise, was strong today off that news, and the euro is weak. Now, the one thing you have to be careful of in the morning, we get tomorrow the Bank of England and the banks of Japan, their central banks giving us just what is going to be the monetary policy. The new prime minister was put into office now. He was elected by the parliament in Japan, so we'll get that. I don't know the day of the transition exactly. When we look at the gold market, you can see you've still come down this roughly $90 in the market and just sort of sitting here. Nothing in the picture that I have been showing you now for weeks, from that high to this low, has changed. You just keep drifting in there, and it's churning people up. I watch, owning a brokerage firm, I can take a look and see what the accounts are doing, different people, the ones I think are better traders than others, some that are just the bottom pickers. I'm just seeing all the action not going anywhere. The trend did turn up in terms of the swing line. You do have the higher lows, higher highs. The market is over the 18-day average of closes, which means the bias is up, and in theory, support should be coming in at the 1954 level, and the market stays with the uptrend and that friendliness unless you take out 1944, but the key is to not close back under 1954. In terms of the resistance, can I be any clearer as to where it's at? If we take a look at this market, this was Tuesday's action. The high was 1982.40. You had missed the upper Bollinger Band by $1. Today, the high in the market's 1983.80. You just missed the upper Bollinger Band, and you're backing off. So we're in that area of all that resistance. Support's still right through here, and I see more sideways action with a tipping to the bull side. In terms of momentum, still pointing to the upside. So slow stochastics up, the trend up, resistance right above the market. When we come to the gold-silver ratio, just drifting right here sideways at the 71.50 area. And as you can see in the silver market, we've got the pattern of higher lows, higher highs, sort of stuck at that 18-day average of closes. I'm hoping that we break out of this very shortly, but we haven't recently, and we are stuck in this bigger sideways picture. The copper market has the pattern of a higher high, with, I believe, a lower low, overbought as can be, and I'm still of the opinion this 307 to 310 area is a lot of resistance. In the platinum market, we're up at the resistance at the upper Bollinger Band. The market had parked itself for a short while here towards that 18-day average, but not enough where I could say really sideways action. It just went up, saw the resistance point, and it's reacting to that from that market. The palladium market's in an uptrend, but heavily overbought, as you can see, into that resistance of the upper band. I think they'll both have to decide what's the force that's going to move them away from that, up or down. And the dollar index in a churn. Just look at how often it's hitting that 18-day average. It's not going anywhere yet. Maybe the two central banks tomorrow will give us an idea of what this market wants to be. I guess when it grows up, it's going to be interesting. I, for one, did not see anything that I would have taken as super bullish on the dollar, and yet the dollar rallied today. We're going to discuss that, and it comes into our different reports. what we do. For those of you, I don't know if you've heard of David Hightower, well watched in all the markets. He broadcasts through our charting software 3 times a day, talks about the stock indices, his take on it, the metal markets, where it's at. Our crew's right on all this technically. They're going to talk futures, they're going to talk options, the spreads, what they think. If you'd like to get more information and give this a try, certainly won't hurt you, in my opinion at least, go to www.iraepstein.com, look at the word research, look also at the free offerings on the bottom right, and you'll get a feel for everything we offer. I'm Ira. You have a good day. Talk to you tomorrow.